Two left.
Okay, we're almost there.
We're live everywhere.
We are. It's starting. Live video is starting.
Hey.
All right, are we here? You are live now. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's see. Oh no, I didn't want to. I wanted to expand it. There we go. Hold up. Can we do this? Okay. Yes. Okay.
We got it.
Hi, everybody. All right, now the funniest part when you're old, you got to find which glasses you need. You got to get the up close and personal.
Wow.
You got to get the readers. We're everywhere. Are we on?
Yeah, we are everywhere.
Are we?
This is a matrix, a live matrix.
Are we? Hi.
Wow.
All right, we're here. We promise we're going to pay attention.
We have Instagram in the chat. We have YouTube in the chat. We have Facebook in the chat.
Yeah.
Appreciate everyone for being here.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
And now, guess what? We're even going to go live on Podbean on the podcast too. So we got double trouble everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad your knees popped just like
Yeah, I told you they do.
You did.
The most important part right here.
Yes. The most important part.
Okay. Welcome to all the people from all the platforms.
Yes.
If you have a question on the dynamic of masculine, feminine energy, polarity, relationships, how to deal with that modern conflict, that confusion, men are more feminine than ever, women are more masculine than ever. This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to pay attention to all of your comments, and you are a part of the conversation.
Yes. And we are still...
Jesus.
All right, man down, man down.
Okay.
Okay. Now this
Hello, my brother.
Not
from YouTube.
Gonna be...
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, hold on a second. We are having not technical difficulties. We're working on it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just figure it out on Podbean, and it'll be what it'll be. Okay. We're going.
Appreciate people.
Yes, totally.
Shout out to...
Yeah, you can start talking and I'll jump in.
Yes, someone asks, does accent matter? And then they remove the question. But I saw it before you removed it.
Does accent?
Does accent matter?
As in like my accent?
I think the person's asking overall in relationships and dating. Because I said they can ask any question.
Like the tone?
No, the accent.
But
if the people are from a different country and they have a strong accent.
So that's what I was saying, accent, like voice accent.
Yeah. Would that matter to you?
Only if I can't understand them.
Fair enough. I agree. That's your answer.
I mean, if you're gonna expand your whoever you're with, you're gonna tolerate. You're gonna probably like it.
Yeah.
Like I like your little twang accent that you have.
Do I have one?
You do.
On a scale of 0 to 100, how strong is it?
0 to 100?
Yeah. In terms of percentage, how strong is it?
I'm going like 65.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, hello, you hear mine, so...
yeah, in terms of like our accents being different.
Oh, our accents are different, like different. 95%.
I wouldn't agree.
No?
If you're looking at someone from a different continent, it's radically different.
Well, okay, that's true. But I meant for us. Okay, so we're going masculine...
The war on masculine and feminine energy.
The war. And we are... Do we have anybody? I don't even know if I have anybody on Facebook.
From what I'm seeing, there's 2 current viewers.
Yeah, I can't see that far.
Welcome. Okay. So, we have a question from YouTube.
Okay, good.
I've been into my relationship for like 1.5 years, and sometimes my girlfriend really frustrates me, and I've never raised my voice at her, but it actually pisses me a lot. So how do I control the frustration? Wow, that's a good question.
That's a deep question.
That's a good topic of conversation.
Well, if I may, one of my philosophies is, and this was before Mel Robbins with the 3-2-1, you know, or whatever she said. I always say you gotta pause and you gotta count to like 5 before you respond, because I am guilty, and so many of us are, about these knee-jerk reactions. So if you don't stop and think before you open your mouth, especially from somebody like myself, it's gonna come out probably differently than you really want it to come out. That would be what I would say. I would say count to 5, take a 5-minute pause, and if you have the ability to take a longer one, if you're not in front of them, if it's via text message or a voicemail or something like that, I would that would be my advice. What would your advice be?
That's great. What I would add to that is, as you're taking that 5-second pause, what I like to do is focus on the physical sensation in my body instead of staying in my head.
Yeah.
Because if I go in with the story in my head, now there's all the resentment. Now there's all the, but I'm looking at the past and how many times she's done that before. I'm looking in the future. What if she keeps on doing that? And now I'm all in my head.
Overthinking.
Exactly. If I focus on my body instead, now I'm focusing on the actual truth, which is what's happening now. And then when I express how I feel, I can speak in facts, which is what I just heard makes me angry. Okay. And if you say it that way, what was that?
I have
fireworks.
No idea.
No, that's cool.
I don't know. You got fireworks on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Maybe you blew shit up. I can't say for sure.
So and then I can express it from the actual truth, which is not blaming. If you stay in, hearing this made me feel like that. That's a fact. It feels like my chest is tightened right now. Or you use that type of language that is physical. Now you can express your emotions from a place of a fact, and we can hold the space and stay in truth. And then I would say, overall, outside of even the pausing, express it, talk about it, face it. The more you hold it in, the more the resentment will build up.
Oh, 100%.
That is, you cannot, like when you say, I've never raised my voice at her, that's awesome. But if you mean it from a place of, you always pretend everything is fine and you don't address shit, it's going to build, it's going to explode eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I say pause.
Yeah.
Because we can't, when we're feeling something that emotional, you're going to react. And it might not be the best way, and it's that knee-jerk reaction. So I would definitely pause. And I think that's a really great question. But I do have to address the pink elephant in the room. Because Dan, so for the funny story for anybody that is actually listening right now, if you see this here, this is what anybody want to give me a comment on what you think this might be? So funny story, I'm on these like groups on Facebook. Notice the way I like to hold it. And I'm on these groups on Facebook, and I was like, oh wow, I need a charcuterie board. And I ordered it, and my son opened it, and he's like, Ma? I'm so confused. And I said, what's the matter? Well, I got a charcuterie board. He goes, Mom, it's a penis. I said,
how did you not notice it before?
You know what? Because I like to buy shit, and I didn't even pay attention. So Dan comes over, and this was like the first thing that he saw that was in the other room. So then we were setting up. We were going to do it over there. Now we're doing it over here. So you know what he said? He said, you know what? I want to grab that and I want to bring it in because this is important, with our masculine and feminine, right?
Yes.
So I said to him, you can grab the penis and put it wherever you want. So he chose to put it right here between us. Now this is interesting without the visual, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he chose to put it between us, and I said, Dan, you can put that penis anywhere you want to. And I said, just be advised that you will probably never hear that from a woman again. So this is like how we just wanted to start it off. Yeah.
Yes.
How you like me so far?
Yes. Yes.
So there we are. Anyway, enough with our penis.
Yeah.
Right, which is right by the angel. Which I don't know if we're gonna get like. Something bad is gonna happen later. I'm gonna be cursed by the angel of the penis.
Of the penis.
How about it's the angel of the penis?
Yes, that's how we're gonna call it.
I like it. So let's first of all, let's introduce each other here, since we are live on so many places right now. It's actually hysterical, and we did it like two little kids, like wanting to play with everybody. So we wanted to play with all of you, and so I am Real Talk Karen Stacy. I am Karen Stacy, and you are.
I am Dani Banchev. I am a speaker, coach on charisma, confidence, communication, leadership, masculine energy. And what's interesting about our collaboration today is that you have been doing a lot of work when it comes to feminine energy.
Yes, masculine and feminine energy. Yes. So now I have actually, I'm excited, and Dan and I actually met on a Zoom call, right? You were in Mexico.
Yes.
And I am clearly in New York, and we just like hit it off, and here we are, and Dan has been in the coaching industry longer than I, and so now, like both of us, which really so many coaches do, right? We turn our pain into purpose, and so I have lived in survival mode for at least 11 years, probably before that too, but this was the worst part. And I have, I had my aha moments, and I decided to help. I've always helped other people, which I'm sure you have too. And here we are. So yes, one thing that I have spoken passionately about in other, when I've done my podcast and stuff before, is masculine and feminine energy. And so many people are missing the boat on this, because the lines have become so blurred that men don't know what they should and shouldn't do. Honestly, like in men's defense, they don't know what they should and shouldn't do. So the first thing that they should and shouldn't do is have a woman tell them that they can put their penis anywhere they want to. No, so... But I think that there's a blurred line, and if you agree, right, where men are not always, I guess, and I'm not a man, right? So you knowing how to be allowed to be masculine, I think that's the best word to use, because women have stepped into the masculine, where I know, for instance, something basic, like a man holding the door for a woman, and a man has said to me, I can get the door myself. And it's like, I know you can get the door yourself, but please allow me to open the door for you. And there's a blurred, like, it's a fine line there. And so I've had men say to me that they didn't know what to do. So some of them say, well, I'm sorry, I'm holding the door for you. And then others just get kind of jaded and they stop holding the door. And then there are women like me who I'm like, why didn't you hold the door for me? But in men's defense, they didn't, because they were shunned for doing it. Have you experienced something like this?
I have absolutely experienced something like this. And what I've experienced is a lot of the masculine traits that we want to have as men, there are different levels of consciousness for the same trait. So that's why I always separate. So there's the toxic level, then there's the immature level, And then there's the divine level that I call it, or the conscious level.
Yeah. I like divine.
The divine level. And so the same trait, for example, leadership or boldness or making the first moves, leading, the same trait can turn into toxic depending on the level of consciousness of the man. And what I've noticed, and that's what a lot of guys have told me as well, is let's say approaching a woman. This is a classic one. So men approach women much, much, much less often now.
Yeah.
On the street, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason is because we've been conditioned to perceive ourselves as predatory if we do.
Oh.
It's almost this, we're afraid of being perceived as predators, of making the woman uncomfortable. Of forcing it too much. But the problem is the same trait that allows you to do that can be courage, it can be being bold, it can be being leading, outgoing, and all of these are important masculine traits. And so this is where I believe men have been confused in the narrative.
Okay.
And the solution I've been giving to people is to, especially with the approaching thing, I was talking about that with a guy yesterday.
Okay.
Do it regardless, without physical contact, of course. Stay there for the first 15, 20, 30 seconds. Step out of your comfort zone. Do it. And then if you see the woman after 20, 30 seconds still being uncomfortable,
right,
now you let her go, of course. Now you're like, okay, have a good day.
Okay.
So it's this stepping out of the comfort zone, doing it despite the discomfort, despite the self-image. And most of the time, what I've noticed, when you practice and you do it well, the woman will actually appreciate it. They will appreciate your masculine presence, you breaking their patterns, entertaining them, being playful, making them laugh. They actually enjoy that, but they just have this filter as a protective mechanism, which is completely understandable from a feminine perspective. And so this is what I encourage men to do, to kind of change that association they have in their heads.
Well, I think also, like, I'm old school. And so I think that there's different perceptions of what masculine actually is. So sometimes masculine can be considered not like dominant, right? But dominant in a negative way, not dominant in a leading, in a positive way.
Yeah.
So so dominant as in controlling, and then dominant as in masculine.
Exactly.
And so there's a big thing there. And so strong women, the minute that thing happens, we're like, wait a minute, who the hell are you? Like, and so that's where and so that's where the lines get blurred. Yeah. Because no one wants to be controlled, right? And some people, and women are the same way. Women can be very controlling. It's my way or the highway. They can be women, we're demanding. But there's those blurred lines, because what has happened is that because of this polarity, it's not equal anymore. And so what has happened is that women have stepped into their masculine because the men are not in the proper, healthy, masculine place. Yes. So women, it's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself.
I got this. I don't need nobody. And that's what, and you'll hear women, I don't need nobody. I don't need a man. That's like the big thing. I don't need a man.
Yes. And that emasculates the men. So now they're like, well, why would I even try that?
Right.
And that creates the sort of downward spiral, I would call it.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Yes. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A downward spiral.
A downward spiral.
We're going to use this as the gauge, right? Yeah. So if the penis is up, it's a good topic. If the penis is down, it's bad.
Yes. So how do we restore the downward spiral? in my perspective, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
It's both sides taking responsibility.
Yes.
First of all, not pointing fingers to the other side, because that doesn't help anyone.
Nope.
And as we're taking responsibility, I believe on the side of men, it is restoring trust and safety from the feminine. So making the feminine feel safe and being trustworthy for the feminine.
Right.
So keeping our words.
Right.
Keeping our promises.
Uh-huh.
Make the woman feel safe. That comes with protection, with providing as well. Not only money, because when people say providing, it comes, they think about money.
Anybody could do that.
Exactly. Providing space. Space for the woman to be able to go through the emotions. A safe place.
Space.
For the woman to feel listened to. So all of these little things can make the woman get back to her feminine, and then it becomes an upward spiral again.
Yeah, but you know what?
And
I'm gonna and so to that though, I'm going to take accountability for women as well,
Yeah.
because women have to learn to do the same thing. Because most men are afraid, not afraid, but they don't want to get their balls broken. They don't want to get back in the same thing. So, they're like, you know what? Whatever she wants, like, I don't want to hear her mouth. And so you don't feel safe. Men don't feel safe because they're not sure if the woman is going to beat them down, going to emasculate them, and everything else. So there's a fine line. And again, we both, men and women, we're going to do what we think we need to do to protect ourselves so that we're safe. Because we don't trust that the other person is going to keep us safe. Now, that depends. If you're in a good relationship, if you're married, let's say, or have a healthy relationship with anybody, and you know that person, you trust them 100%, then you don't mind. I mean, when my husband was alive, our biggest problem was that I did not let him be the man. And I didn't understand it because of the way I was raised. I was raised to be a strong woman. You don't rely on a man. You make your own money. You take care of your shit. You do this, you do that, right? So that's how I was raised. So for all my husband wanted was to take care of me.
Yes.
And I didn't understand it. And we used to fight over it, and then as time went by, and he always, he was there, he was my human, he had me, like I hate when people say, I got you. Yeah, okay, the minute somebody says, I got you, or I got your back, I'm out, because I know right there, I'm fucked. Because that means nothing. Usually the people that say, I got you, are the last ones to actually have you. That's my experience. So it's hard to let go. And that's one of my big things, one of my huge ahas, right? In life is letting go. It sounds so simple, but it is so hard to do.
I so agree.
So letting go means trusting.
Yes.
So how do you trust? How do you trust somebody else? How do you trust yourself? Right? Yes. All of these things that we have to grow and we have to learn how to do that.
Yeah. How do we trust? How do we trust? My aha moment with letting go, surrender, faith, trust is that, especially from the perspective of a man, because I'll tell you the conversations I've had with one of my previous partners around that, which is the only thing I can truly feel safe in and protected at all levels is God.
Okay.
Is the divine.
Okay.
So not a particular religion, but a relationship with the divine.
Okay.
And the reason is that I cannot expect my woman to protect me, especially not in certain areas, like physically is the obvious.
Okay.
And that is very, I would say, emasculating. It is not my woman's role to protect me.
Okay.
So who's going to protect me? Well, there's brotherhood, obviously. This is why it's important. You want to be surrounded by powerful men that you know you can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
But the deepest form of protection is faith. And it is quite a deep answer, but what I mean by that faith is remembering who I am at the deepest level. So who I am in my soul, in my heart, that is protected at all times. I can die, Dani can die, but that soul, that heart, will keep on living. So when I remember that, I feel safe, unconditionally protected and safe. And from that place of myself feeling unconditionally protected and safe, now I can offer that to my partner, my woman, and then she can feel safe in my presence, feeling that.
Well, you know what's interesting is that what I got stuck on a moment. I mean, that's all great, but you said that my woman can't protect me.
Yeah.
So we will protect you with everything we have in us, no matter what. If we, especially if you're like, depending on the type, like I will oh God, this was a long time ago. God, 30, 40 years ago, probably, when I was going out to the clubs. I grew up in the Bronx, and I hung out with, a lot of different types of people, and some of them were wise guys, some of them, they're the boys, they're the this, they're the that, right? And so one of the guys used to say to me, I could go out with 20 of my boys, and no one looks out the way you do. If anything ever happened, you would be the first one to know it. So again, it's a misconception. It's a perception, right? Because if I am paying attention, yeah, maybe I can't beat up the guy, physically, right? But I know, see, I was going to say I got you, and I told you I hate that word. So, but that's how I am. And so I tell my son, I tell whoever, like anybody that's with me, I know where you are. The club could be packed. If I don't know where you are, we got a problem. So protection and security comes from a lot of different angles. Yes, it comes from within you, but we got to have that backup. And that's the problem is that we don't have, people are not like united in a sense that they rely on one another. It's like with anything, there's got to be a yin and a yang, and that's how you know your people. And unfortunately, if the woman is being the man and the man is being the woman, then how do we rely on each other?
I hear you.
Uh-oh.
I see you.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
But I'm going to offer my 2 cents here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Worth, probably. Where I would invite a different perspective.
Okay, I love it.
The gender, man, woman, biologically, for that conversation is irrelevant. We're talking about masculine and feminine energy. So certain women have more masculine energy naturally, certain men have more feminine energy naturally.
True.
And for some people, that is their natural healthy state.
Yes.
However, a lot of people have been pushed towards their their unnatural state, energy. And if we're talking strictly energy, this is where I believe, again, we all have a bit of both in us.
Yes.
One is more dominant. If we're talking strictly energies, I believe strongly that to protect is the masculine side.
I agree.
And so when you say I was always like looking and I would always have their back, that might have been your masculine side coming out.
1,000%, right?
And so what I'm proposing here is that for when I say I don't want to expect for my woman to protect me, I'm not saying she never will if it's necessary. I'm not saying she's going to be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't want
Yeah.
to expect from her to protect me because I want her to be in her feminine.
Yeah.
And in her feminine, I believe she shouldn't have to care about protecting me.
And that's 1,000%. You're right. Absolutely. And you know, there and again, you know, depending on where you come from and where you're at, those things are not always the easiest things to do.
Definitely
right?
not.
You know,
Definitely not.
and so and to speak on that in that particular situation, it was probably because he might have been a man. And he might have been a masculine man, but maybe I didn't think that there was the protection.
Exactly.
Right? So again, that's where the lines get blurred.
Yes.
And then you step up or you step down, depending.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And when that is why it's so important for each side to take responsibility.
100%.
So some conversations I've had in my previous relationship, which now we're great friends, I'm very grateful for her. We still have these discussions. So I remember when we were in the relationship, although we both have both sides, and in life, by the way, both will be required.
Yeah.
A man needs to be feminine sometimes in certain situations, and that's okay. I believe flexibility is power. You want to have both
100%.
as tools. But in the relationship, you want to cultivate polarity. At least that's what I want in my relationships.
I agree.
And so I remember she was saying on purpose she was advising women, and she was doing it herself, to trust her man with decision making, regardless. Even if you have a doubt in your mind.
Okay.
You practice letting the man lead.
Yep.
If you know your man has high standards, wants to be masculine and all that stuff, if that has been concluded, then on purpose you let them lead.
Yeah.
And you practice trusting.
Yeah.
Letting yourself be led.
Yeah.
Or you let your man provide.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed also with certain relationships close to me, I won't mention who, but a relationship I've observed is that, well, when the woman doesn't trust or doesn't let the man provide, no, we're going to split the bill, I don't want you to pay for me. Well, the man eventually, gives up.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to keep trying because I understand the perspective.
Yeah.
So it's both taking
Yeah.
responsibility. But then the man needs to take care of being trustworthy. And so keep your words.
Mm-hmm.
As much as humanly possible. No one's perfect, but do your best to keep your words.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the issue with that is that there are so many blurred lines.
Yes.
So it's really difficult to do because women are more, you know, we can be more demanding in certain things, and especially depending on how we were brought up, and all of that, we're gonna lead. Like even what you just said, you basically brought up the fact that, like, okay, well, that's how you were, but you were in your masculine energy. And I, until you said it, didn't even realize that, because that was the way I was, you know, that was me. That was how I was brought up. So I didn't even realize it. And as I said, I mean, I think I have my friends, my close people, I know a lot of strong women, and they are more masculine than most men that I see. And
Yeah.
I am probably the most feminine of all of them, because of the relationship I had with my husband, and just because I am so tired at this point of being the man. Like I say this all the time, and I don't know if there are any women out there that are listening right now that feel this way, but I don't want to be the man. And for all the men listening out there, hear me. I don't want to be the man. I don't want to do all that stuff. So, like, for instance, and this doesn't make me the man, but like anytime, you know, somebody says, "Oh, let's go do something." Well, where do you want to go? You pick the place. Right? And I'm like, I don't want to have to pick the place.
Yeah.
And I always have to do it. And I mean, it could be something it sounds so trivial, right? Really. Like, you know, and I'm picky, so a lot of people are like, Karen, you figure out the place because you need X, Y, and Z. And I do understand that, right? But like, if we're going there, give me something.
Yeah.
You know, where it's not like I have to sit there and on my if I have free time, I got to go and freaking Google restaurants and places and where I want to go and all of that stuff. It's annoying. Yes. Now I don't want to go anywhere because I'm too busy doing this.
Yes.
So, you know, and this isn't even just, this is in general, but a man, you know, it's very kind of a man to say, I want you to be comfortable, you choose. Because I want you to feel comfortable. I respect and understand that. But not when you're doing it just because you don't want to.
Exactly.
So, like, give me a plate. Like, say, you know what? Do you want to go in this area or in this area?
Yeah.
Do you want, like, a friend of mine that is extremely masculine. He will say to me, what are you in the mood to eat?
Yeah.
And I'll go, you know, seafood. Great. I'll find a nice seafood place.
Yeah.
Done.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right? So that's it. So right, that's healthy, and that's my point. And so like I appreciate that. And he'll say to me, "Well, you know, and I go, I trust you.
Yeah.
Pick a place.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. That's the dynamic.
Right.
That's the dynamic.
But it takes a lot.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't blindly trust anything.
Of course.
Anything.
That's what I'm saying. Men have a huge responsibility here. You cannot blindly trust them. And fair enough. Fair enough. Each side has to take responsibility. This is my conclusion. The trust is the most... So trust, leadership, protection.
Yes.
If you just figure out these things, trust, leadership, protection, and you focus on that, meaning safety, making the woman feel safe, leading, and being trustworthy, you focus on these three things on the masculine side. I wonder if you can give 3 things on the feminine side. I would be very curious. But for me, these 3 on the masculine, you take responsibility for those, it will already solve much of the problem. What will be the feminine version of that?
Allowing.
Allowing, yes.
Right? It would be allowing. It would be, you know, and it's funny because I have a dear friend of mine that I went to high school with, Andre Whitfield, and he wrote a book on, you know, male versus man. And we have had this masculine, feminine a lot, and it's really the issue of women know when we're dealing with a boy or a man. And you know, like, and you could be 60 and you're acting like a boy. And the funny thing is, what I've noticed is that most people are not self-aware. And so the men will say, well, I can't find a good woman. And it's like, I'll be talking to them, and yet, like, I'm a good woman. You're talking to me right now, and you still don't know. You're missing, it's like, it's right here, and you're missing it, you know? And so that's the whole thing, is that you need to be self-aware. You gotta get the cues, and so you can't think that you are that man if women are not responding to you. And people, what is the common denominator? It's you.
Yes.
So if things aren't working a certain way, maybe you got to reevaluate and say, well, shit, you know, like, how come every girl, first of all, it's energetic, right? So what we're putting out, we're getting back. So people that say, I can't meet a nice woman or a nice man, they're all crazy. What does that say? Maybe you're cray-cray, and you're getting back what you're throwing out, right?
It comes down to the identity of a victim. Oh my God.
No accountability.
Oh, no accountability, no responsibility. It's just so dangerous.
And you pinned it right on the head. It is that victim mentality. And if I could teach anyone anything, it is that. Where are you in that? Where are you in your role in things? Because we play the victim, even though we think we don't.
Yes.
we do.
On a certain level.
Right. Well,
It's like
depending on where you are.
Yeah,
Right. Depending on where you are. Depending on where you are.
Where you are, yeah.
Yeah. You know. And so that's self-awareness.
Yeah.
So the other thing that you mentioned was trust.
Yes.
So trust is, to me, the number one thing for anything to work.
Yes.
Anything. Because if you don't trust who you're dealing with, if you, and talk about, people always say trust the process. How hard is it to trust the process?
It can be.
Right? Because you're like, shit, is this, I don't know if this is right. Am I doing this right? Am I going to get to where I need to be? Am I going in the right direction? And you got to trust the process. So trust is so huge, and trust is something that is earned.
Yes.
You can try to trust somebody, but you really gotta earn someone's trust. Yes. So that's in everything. That's in relationships, friendships, work.
Yeah.
Anything.
How about yourself?
Oh, there we go.
How about that?
Yeah, that's a big one.
You have to earn your own trust.
You do, because you can't keep letting yourself down.
Yes, I agree. And people only trust you to the degree that you trust yourself. Mm-hmm. And same thing with respect. Same thing with any perception.
Yeah.
I believe it starts with self.
Hello, boundaries. Hello, boundaries. They're knocking on the door. Hello, boundaries. But that is the biggest thing. So even now, like, for some of you that don't know me, and for some of you that don't know Dani, you don't really know. It's not that you don't trust us, but you don't know us, right? Exactly. So now here's the funny thing. If you're following Dani, you trust Dani. So now, because he's sitting here with me, now you kind of trust me. I mean, you know, not maybe fully, but you say, you know what? Dani's a good guy. Dani's sitting talking to her. We could listen. We can give her a chance.
It's trust by association.
And that's why it's so important. I tell my son all the time, your reputation will precede you. You have to be genuine, and especially in the field of work that we're in, where we're trying to help you. And it being a coach, you know, being a mentor, being somebody that is leading you, you have to trust.
Yes.
And this just goes back to the masculine, the feminine. It's all because it's about trust. Because you can't just say, "Oh, okay, this must be good."
Yeah.
You need proof.
Yeah, I see it as a currency almost. Trust, and it's our most important currency.
Yeah, that's a very
literally the most important one.
It is, and you can't buy it.
You cannot buy it.
Can't buy it.
You have to earn it.
Exactly. And so this is where all of these things come into play, because you have to learn trust. I mean, we were doing this here, and like, we're like two little kids setting up microphones, doing all this, doing all that, the angle, the this, the that. And you know what? I trusted whatever he was doing. All right, go ahead, try it. And he trusted, all right, go ahead, try it. Trust. And we both kind of looked and were like, all right, yeah, that works. You like that? Okay, you like that? Okay, good. And we were good.
Yeah.
And even though I think both of us we are very thorough. And I was going to use the word anal, but I'm going thorough. And we were thorough. So even when we were trying to figure out the bringing it together on like the Instagram or whatever, and we were kind of like, we were a little off thing, and we were both like, we were cool with it, but we didn't like it because it wasn't like what we wanted. We should have had it, and we didn't have it. But we rolled with it, and you guys rolled with it because you understood it's live. We're not faking it. We're not pretending camera 1, camera 2.
Which, by the way, I believe that's like a little side note on content and business and personal brands. Lives is the future of content. Because AI taking over the internet,
that's
people won't trust that something is real unless it's live.
I didn't even think about that. And I didn't realize how much AI is affecting us. Like, I didn't use it much. My father was using it a lot, 82 years old, and he's using it, and it became...
That's cool.
Yeah, but it was like, he's like, oh, and then my chat said this on my chat, and I'm like, really? Like, it's a freaking computer. So, but I do recognize it, and I see it when people postings and all of these things, and I'm so, if you use it, like I yell at mine, like I'm like,
same.
that is not what I said. I asked you to be my assistant.
Yeah.
I am the boss. You are the assistant. You write what I say, not what you want. And I do it just to collect my thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. He likes it. Well,
no,
we're going. Yeah,
it was positioned towards me, and I just realized that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just put it that way.
I was a little guilty for that one. But it's true, and this is how you know you can't fake it. Like, we don't have a script in front of us. There's nothing here. I got my iPad because I'm recording this on Podbean for the podcast. Other than that, we got nothing here.
Yeah.
I do have something next to me for notes in case I wanted to remember something, but I'm paying attention. So yeah, I mean, this is how you know when somebody is genuine or not.
Yes. Yes.
Where are we going with this?
Yes. I was thinking,
You
there's
wanna
multiple questions we
Go ahead.
haven't answered yet.
Check them out.
And so we could check the
I don't
different
think,
questions out.
I don't know if anybody's on. I wonder if my live is even on.
It is. And there's even a comment. Someone said it's for peanuts. I think that's what they were talking about.
Oh, okay. No, there is comments there. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Good.
some people on
All right.
IG.
All right.
And then, the YouTube.
Yeah, let's go.
So, the person that was talking about their relationship struggles said, like, when I'm in middle of some work, she would keep on mocking me up, which would like mess the work too.
What does mocking me up mean?
Basically, making fun of him.
Oh, hell no.
Now that's a hell no.
No, hell no.
That's not feminine energy right there.
But you know what? I mean, we're reading it, so we might be missing the undertone to it.
Right.
But like reading it the way you just read it, that's a hell no.
That's a hell no.
That's a hell no.
To me, just to share with you, brother, the standards are that support is an absolute non-negotiable. Like supporting your purpose, your work. If you don't have that, it's not even a consideration for me. So that's definitely a hell no.
It sounds belittling.
Yeah, exactly. Face it, express it, be straight up with it. Don't attack, but say, hey, these are my standards. I don't feel respected in that. What are we gonna do about it? Like, it's either changing or it's over. It's a bit extreme, but she cannot make fun of you for your work. To me, that's a non-negotiable.
Or the question would be too, like, to be diplomatic, like, did you ask what that means? Like, what do you mean by that?
That would be a more mature.
Yeah,
answer.
I mean, hell no was my first response.
yeah, exactly. That would be the more mature.
Sometimes we come to a conclusion from our own insecurities.
Yeah.
Right. So, but reading again, I'm just saying, reading what you just said. Yeah, hell no. But benefit of the doubt.
Asking what that means.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Fair
Are you
enough.
making fun of me?
Fair enough.
That makes
That's
me
a
feel
good
like
one.
you're making fun of me.
Yeah.
Like, are you making fun of me?
Yeah, that would be a better reaction.
Yeah, I think so.
I respect that. Yeah.
What else we got there?
How can I increase my charisma? Or is it just genetics? Okay.
That's
I
great.
appreciate
That's a good question.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I would say it is, when we're talking about charisma specifically, it is close to 0% genetics. Close to zero. If you're talking about looks, obviously, yes, there's part of it that's genetics, but especially on the masculine side, and this is what I've observed a lot with my dating coaching as well. Looks for men, and you tell me, you confirm. Actually, let me ask you something before I answer. What would you say matters?
You have the mic.
What would you say matters more? Looks, and rank them. Looks, character, so that includes confidence, personality, leadership, all that. Mm-hmm. Or status, so that is literally the position of the man in society.
You know, I have to be fair to say all three matter.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times the most good-looking people, male or women, are the most shallow, the most insecure, the most abusive, and such sometimes, right? Character to me is everything, because your character is who you are, right? All of the other things are just parts of you, right? But I think character is so important.
Of course.
And then as far as stature, right? That's what the last one.
Yeah.
So stature is a measure of someone's character.
Exactly. That's
right?
what I was going to say.
Who they are, because you want somebody to aspire to be better, and to be the best that they can be, and whatever that may be. Like I tell my son, he's taking calculus, an AP calculus course, and it's impossible, and he never got like a 40 on a test, and in calculus that's high. And I say to him, listen to me, if you're doing everything you can do and that's the result that you get, then I'm okay with that. If you could have done better and you're not applying yourself, then I have a problem with that. So as far as stature, some people make six figures and some people don't. But it doesn't mean that they're not successful. That's not how you measure that. You measure it by what's inside and your aspirations.
Yes. I appreciate you breaking that down. It's the patterns I've observed. It matches with what I was expecting, which is especially for men. And then I'll say something that might be a bit controversial, but I'll say it out of love. But especially for men.
I love controversial. Which you want? I can hold this for you while you're speaking controversial.
Especially for men, that's not controversial. Your character, your leadership, your energy, your vibe, your consciousness, your charisma, your communication skills matters so much more than your genetics. So much more. I mean, during my teenage years, where I had some friends getting girlfriends, getting all sorts of beautiful women, girls, I was socially anxious, couldn't talk to my crush for 4 years. I was bullied. It was horrible. And so of course I had close to zero feminine attention. Close to zero. I was the same guy, had the same genes. So what the heck happened? Well, what changed during the years was everything I worked on from the inside out. And what's interesting is, when you work from the inside out, then you become more attractive externally as well. When your energy is better, you smile more, you have that drive, you have that ambition in you, you have that energy, people can see it, and now it becomes more charismatic. So how can you increase your charisma? Well, what I always say is, people will only perceive you the way you perceive yourself. So where I always start is self-image. Self-image. And self-image is built on proof. And there's two types of proof you can build. Number one is you go out there and you do challenging stuff. You challenge yourself, you immerse yourself, you join brotherhoods, you join communities, you do stuff to face your fears. That builds a self-image of someone who's courageous, someone who gets shit done. It helps you grow. And this is the proof you can build in the external world. But even before that, there's something even simpler. And this is a metaphor I like to give, which is not a metaphor, an example. There's so many people winning the lottery. And statistically, after a couple of years, 50% of them lose everything. Everything. They go back to zero. On the flip side, there's billionaires who lose it all and gain it back within a few years. Why? Because that's who they became. That's the character they built. It's not, the goal is not to make $1 million, it's to become a millionaire. So what I'm saying is...
Right, which is different. That's embodying that.
Exactly. It's the self-image you're building. And there is already enough proof in your life of moments, little moments in your life where you have been charismatic, where you have done something or been who you want to become, but you just forget about it because your brain has been conditioned to think about the negative. We've been conditioned that way. And so by practicing to focus on what's right, because what's wrong will always be available, but so is what's right. So to focus on what's right and to keep practicing that and taking action externally and challenging yourself, that is how eventually you raise the bar of what I call the pressure tolerance you can hold socially. And that is one of the most charismatic things you can be. Because most people are charismatic with their friends. Most people are charismatic with the people closest to them. It's just when you put them in front of strangers, in front of the camera, now they lose all of their frame. Now they shrink. But it's just because they're not used to hold that level of social pressure. They haven't challenged themselves enough.
And the flip to that is that you have a lot of people that are only that when they have a camera in front of them. Think about that. Think about that. You have all these people that gotta go live while they're, and they're not like, so look, don't get me wrong. With doing shows and having a business and stuff, sometimes you do have to go live because you want to show people like what's up. But then you have people that are the everyday people and they gotta go live. I mean, think about, I don't know if you ever watched this, but when you watch reels or you watch things, so like girls go out, let's just say for argument's sake, and they're videotaping them dancing, and the minute they know the camera's on them, they're like, doing it all. And they might not normally be those type of people, right? But then when the camera's on, you get those that hide and they're like this and they don't want to be seen. But most of them want to be the star of the show.
That's a flip side I've never even thought about.
Yeah. Because I watch it sometimes and I think to myself, you know what? Good for you. Like, okay, that's where you're going with that. Okay. Yeah. So it's an external, it's something external that gives you either the balls or shoots you down.
Yeah. And I guess they are charismatic, so that's not the problem. But now they're living their lives in performance.
Correct.
And so that affects them on a different level. They've solved the charisma thing, but now maybe the fulfillment, maybe the happiness.
Yes.
Maybe peace.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, that's what I'm saying. There's so many levels to things if you really dive in.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's answer some on Instagram.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see your IG.
I don't know. Listen, I'm old, so my IG is probably
Someone said,
is anybody there?
I've come to this live from my room because I can hear you guys clearly talking about penises from my room.
That's gotta be my kid. That's
so
all.
That's
all.
Hilarious.
See, that's it. I don't think I have my IG following is sad.
There's someone. Chris Danish said, "Hey there." I don't know
hey
if you
there.
know them.
Hello to everybody that's watching. If you're on Facebook Live, by the way, I can't see comments, so I'm not ignoring you. I don't think there are any, which is weird.
Currently, there aren't, but there were some comments.
If somebody is on Facebook, could you please make a comment, even if you don't love me? Because I just would like to know if it's testing. Is this mic working?
Yeah. Oh, that would be a good one.
That's what I say all the time. No, we only
William
have a
says,
hi.
"How are y'all doing?"
Yeah. And who is that? William. I don't know if he's still on, but hi, William.
Shout out.
All right, so what other questions we got?
There's another question. How do I increase my confidence? Sometimes I decide won't care about what people say, and ask or do something, but in that moment I always overthink and do not do anything, and someone else does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think the question...
You and everybody else.
So and then he says, and the person gets all the attention. So essentially what he's saying is, so he has an idea, he wants to do something, and then he overthinks.
Yep.
Now someone else does the thing, and now they get all the attention. Now he's like, fuck, I missed my opportunity.
Yep.
I feel you deeply.
Yep.
I was in that position for years. And my answer will stay the same. It comes down to the state, the reaction, the character, the self-image you have conditioned in that moment in time. Right now, because, okay, another thing I like to tell people is babies. Do you think babies, little humans, give a fuck about expressing themselves? They cry their asses off in public. They don't give a fuck. They're fully themselves. Yep. So we're all born like this.
Yep.
So that fear
Yep.
of other people's perception, which is very human, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very human. But that fear has been conditioned into us. And since it has been conditioned, it means it can be deconditioned.
Yeah.
So it's just a habit. It's just a habit. What's up, Maxim? Glad to have you here. So it's just a habit. What I would do is, again, it comes down to challenges, immersion. It comes down to you put yourself consciously, intentionally into situations in which you could do these types of things. And now you stay present with the sensation in your body. You let it come and go. It's okay for you to feel afraid. We all feel afraid. Courage is acting in spite of fear. And so you stay present with your physical sensation in your body, and then you do it. And if you cannot do it the first time, that's okay. You try it again. And then eventually you do it. Oh shit, you do it one time. You celebrate that win. Because that celebration, now your focus will be on who you're becoming, on that win instead of all your failures. So now you do it a second time. It's a bit easier. And a bit easier, a bit easier, a bit easier. Next thing you know, it becomes your identity. It's who you are. You're in a social gathering. You are the center of attention. If that's what you want, some people want that, some others don't. But if that's what you want, you can become that. You literally can. And the reason I can say that with so much certainty is, again, I almost dropped out of one of my classes in high school because I didn't want to speak on stage. I went to the director's door. I said, "Sir, I don't care about what note you give me. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting on stage." Now I get to do that for fun, and it's my career. So what happened? Well, it's all those years of stepping out of my comfort zone, conditioning that new identity. So it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, fear is the most debilitating thing, and it happens no matter what. I mean, I'm raising my son is 16, and I have these conversations with him all the time, and I say to him, like, I'm scared too.
We're all scared.
But, do it anyway.
Yep.
And fear is not a bad thing, but the only thing is that if you can't let it debilitate you. Fear is put there for you to be aware, right? So that you don't put yourself in a bad situation. So fear, if you got a pit in your stomach, like shit, something's wrong, then don't do that.
Yes.
But if it's a situation where you're afraid that you're not going to succeed, you got to try, because if you don't try, then you're never going to get there.
Yes.
And that's really, and for anybody that's watching, don't discount that. We get that. It's scary.
Yes.
And you just have to kind of let go and just trust again, there goes that word again, let go.
Trust.
And trust the process. You just got to try to do it. I mean, if you're not, I'm a big believer in don't set yourself up for failure, though. That's something that I will say. But, sometimes we put ourselves in a situation and we kind of are, we be mindful that if you are in that situation where you're going to be in that place, try not to set yourself up for failure, because then you're going to feed into,
of course,
the fear. I know, but it's an of course, but sometimes we don't think about that because we're unclear, because fear clouds our judgment. So you have to be rational about it and recognize, like you've said many times, be in your body. We don't know how to do that, a lot of us. What the hell does that mean? It means that when you get that feeling, either it's a non-essential feeling, and it's only there it's our conscious mind, actually our subconscious mind, that's going, no, don't do that. You're not good at that. You're not good at that. And your conscious mind is like, no, I got this. I know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to say this. I'm going to come out. And your subconscious, right? The programming that you talked about, right? When you were a baby and now you're not. So that programming is always, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
How are you going to look? What are people going to think?
Mm-hmm.
So how important is that?
It's okay. You touched on something so important, and the way I deal with it is I separate them. So there's what I call psychological fear, and then there's instinctive fear. So the instinctive fear is literally what's keeping us alive. So there's, by definition, nothing wrong with it. It's what allowed our species to survive.
Right, it's the caveman.
Yes. And then there's all of that new part of the brain, the new human side, the analytical. And now it connected both on things that shouldn't be connected. So now someone rejecting you to that side of you means, oh shit, I'm gonna die because I'm gonna be kicked out of the tribe.
Right,
and if I'm alone, I'm gonna die. Because
Yes.
our ancestors, if they were alone, they were
They
dead.
were dead. Yep.
And so what I believe is the way you transcend the psychological fear, you cannot transcend the instinctive fear, thank God.
Right.
You can be as present as humanly possible.
Right, and you're
But
not
then if
walking
something
down.
attacks you,
You're not walking down the alley like at 3:00 in the morning. You're not walking down an alley
Exactly.
in the dark. Like
Yes.
no.
yes, you're gonna experience that deep sense of yeah, something's off here.
Yep.
And that's beautiful. So I would say this is how I transcend it as much as possible. I'm still human, of course, so I experience psychological fear often, but much less often than before,
Okay.
when I understood this. Which is to, when you again focus on the physical sensation, which is my fastest way to become present, to go back to the present moment, because you get out of your head into your body.
Yeah.
You focus on the physical sensation, you focus on the feeling inside of your body, then you start looking around you. Now you're like, oh, I'm in the present moment again. And by definition, you cannot be in the present moment and experience psychological fear, because psychological fear exists only in time. And when you come back to that present moment, now you can surrender and trust that if ever there's actual danger, if there's actual danger that could put your life at risk, your body will defend you.
Right.
It comes down to trust.
Right.
Do you trust your biology? Do you trust how God created you, or how the Creator, how the universe created you? Do you? And my answer, as much as humanly possible, is yes, I do. And so I surrender. And if there's actually something that is dangerous, my intuition will tell me, or my body will react automatically. If something goes towards my eyes, I'll close my eyes without me deciding to.
Right.
do it.
Here, it's instinctual.
So I trust my instinct. And then psychological fear, 99.9% of the time, is useless, I would even say.
Yeah, and it's it's pre-programming, and it's just the understanding that we have control over those programs.
Yes, we can change that. We can. Not easy, but possible.
Possible, and that's the thing, and that's why it is so important. And the work that we do is so important, because what we do as coaches is we go back in and challenge those programs.
Yes.
Now, some of those programs are probably beneficial, but maybe they're being utilized in the wrong, in not the most beneficial way. So, there are for me, for instance, like even an overthinker, right? So thinking is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about it. That can be not as beneficial.
Yes.
Right? So these are all things where that pre-programming, we can break those things down. And the more self-aware we are, the easier it is to recognize that that's all we have to do.
Yes. They're all tools.
Right. And it's all, well, you know what? I'm going to say something. My father, he said something the other day, and I was like, because I use the word tools about my toolbox of things. And my father said, I don't have tools. Tools are hammers. I have experience and I have knowledge. And I will not use my toolbox like that again, because even though I wanted, like when he said it, I was like, you know what? That is so true.
Yes.
And yes, we do feel we have tools because, you and I have trained and learned things, and we are kind of taught that those are our tools to help others. But really, in essence, that is our knowledge that we are, and experience that we are able to utilize.
Yes.
So yes, they are tools, but I guess they don't belong in the toolbox. So Daddy, I heard you when you said it, but right? Like
Yes.
that kind of I was like, ooh.
I love that.
Ooh.
And it's different language, and whatever resonates most. What I like also is resources.
Yeah.
Resources.
Huge.
Because resourcefulness, which I believe is the most optimal state we can all aim for, doesn't judge the darkness or the light. It uses both. Meaning, you want to create change in your life. How about you use your pain and you turn it into purpose? How about instead of rejecting your pain, denying it, repressing it, you use it? That's resourcefulness.
Yeah.
And so it's accepting our human nature. We are human. We experience fear. We experience challenges. Pain.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Instead of trying to run away from it, you stay present with it, and then boom, you use it, and that's the transmutation process.
So that is the hardest, that is definitely one of the hardest things to do, which is why, as you know, I deal with people that live in survival mode, and you don't even realize that that's where you are.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of thing, like, I'll give you I've been this way my whole life, because usually people that have a lot of responsibility on them, we always kind of go into survival mode, but there are different degrees of survival mode, right? So I have recognized when I'm where and what parts are, how deep I am into it. And that's the difference, is that you need to understand and take accountability for where you are, because when you're just in survival mode, you've shut down all of these other things. And so now you won't look. You won't be self-aware. Like, you might be self-aware, but you're not going in that deep. Like, I got to do what I got to do. Right? And that's what we say. I got to do what I got to do. And I like I was saying, so now, like, my mom, so I'm going to say like 2 years ago, we had to put my mom in hospice. And I found out like that day, and I was hosting an event, and I had to go to work that night. And I had to be the hostess with the mostest. And I literally took everything I was feeling and went, not now. And people that I knew, even somebody that, considered themselves to be one of my closer friends, they were like, oh, I didn't know. I said, yeah, you would not know. Because there's no time for that right now. So we do that, and you get good at it. So you don't feel that. Because who the fuck wants to feel it? That shit hurts. If you sit in pain, you want to run.
Of course.
So I wanted to grab the tequila. I don't want to feel that. I'm not going to feel that. Let me drink my tequila. I'll get through the night. Tomorrow's another day of me pushing that pain.
Repressing it.
And that is, so in order to grow, you must be uncomfortable.
By definition.
And so why are you uncomfortable? Because pain sucks.
Yeah. By definition also. It's like, you mentioned I wanted to grab the tequila, which is a very human reaction. That's coping mechanisms are a $1 trillion market. We're talking alcohol, drugs, porn, sex, all like video games, social media, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, coping mechanisms are $1 trillion industry. Why? Because it's the most human thing ever. Not to want to sit with your pain.
Yeah.
Not to want to face your pain.
And it becomes self-destructive at that.
Of course. And paradoxically, when you face your pain is when you suffer the least.
In essence, yes. So
yes. One of my favorite lines from one of the greatest teachers in history is, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And what I would add to that is, suffering happens when you resist pain.
Yes.
Now, easier said than done. And this is the work that a human being must go through. It's like, can you increase your pain tolerance? Can you face your fears? Can you face your pain as much as humanly possible? I believe this determines long-term the quality of your life on all levels.
Yeah, and in essence, it does kind of go back to our whole topic here between masculinity and femininity, because you have, men are taught, we're both taught to be strong in essence, depending on how you were raised. Men are taught to be the leaders, to be in control. And so men are not, never let, I was raised, never let them see you cry, right? You can't show weakness. Weakness means, and going back to the ancestors, weakness means if your prey, you're prey. The predator sees that weakness, they're gonna jump on you. And again, I have a son. I raise them the same way. Like, here, you want them to feel their emotions, but I say, if somebody's doing this, and that, you don't cry. You don't let them see that. You go whatever, and then and it's awful but that's life. And unfortunately, we do have to do that. So this is, again, where the masculine and feminine, where men are not allowed to, so it's considered a feminine side if men have emotions.
Yes.
What the fuck is that? Because
we can touch on that.
Yeah.
Finish your point.
I don't. I mean, we can talk about it now, because I don't understand that, because you can be in touch with your feelings. Feeling, like we just discussed 5 minutes ago, is the strongest thing that you can do.
Yes.
So if a man is hurt and going through something, now again, there's a fine line, and I'm not putting judgment on anybody, but we're not talking about having a man that cries every time, the TV show doesn't come on or whatever. That's a little bit different, right? But if, you suffer a loss or, whatever it is, and you feel pain and you let out tears, that doesn't make you any less of a man. In my opinion, it makes you more, because you're in touch with your feelings. But we aren't raised that way. So what men aren't raised, and believe it or not, women aren't, which is the reason why you see a lot of women that have this masculine energy, because we are not raised to be that way. It is not okay, and it doesn't matter, because you know what? You could cry, but just don't let anybody see you. You know how many times I went in the bathroom to cry? Because you can't let somebody see you? And you go through these things, and you're like, you know what? Got to keep going. I mean, I wrote my ebook, is about this. Like, strong women, pull up your big girl panties. Let's go. Keep it moving. And so people don't understand the ramifications that come from it, because you're never allowed to feel what you're actually feeling. And then the end result of that is resentment.
Yes.
It's confusion. And in essence, there's vulnerability in there, and we don't even, and that we can't even recognize, because we're not allowed. You shouldn't be vulnerable. All of these things are not
that's what it comes down to,
right? Like air quotes, right? They're not appropriate.
Of course. Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yes, there's so many things I want to jump on. And I'll choose to.
There's so many things I want to jump on. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Jump, Dani, jump.
Jeez. So I'll choose to be vulnerable then.
Okay.
Which is to share a story of how I used to deal with breakups and how I deal with them now.
Okay.
And the different experience there. So
I like that.
My first breakups, I've been conditioned as a young man, like you just said. Not necessarily that crying is wrong, but it is weakness. Mm-hmm. It is weakness. And so when I break up, it's like, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta focus on my shit. I'm gonna move on fast. I'm gonna make sure to move on fast.
Banging everybody as fast as you can.
Exactly.
They say the best way to get over somebody is to get on top of them or whatever. Yeah. Something like that.
Exactly. And so this is what I did. This is what I was doing. And there isn't anything wrong with, when you're going through a breakup, focusing on becoming the best version of yourself.
100%.
That's cool. It was the underlying goal behind it, which was to move on as fast as possible because I don't want to be no weak, like, caring about my ex boy.
Fuck her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's what happened. My latest breakup, I said, you know what? Fuck it. Because I've went through a lot of inner work and spiritual experiences. I said, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. But genuinely, if it takes me years to move on, it'll take me years to move on. And I genuinely don't care. You know what happened? Paradoxically, I moved on much faster. And now I get to be friends with her.
You let go of the outcome.
Yes. Now, I cried my ass off.
Perfect.
But, paradoxically, overall, I was stronger. So I tell men, if your goal is to be strong, which is one of the closest things related to masculinity, strength, okay, cool. You want to be strong, you want to be courageous. Well, by definition, the most courageous thing to do is what other guys don't want to do, which is to cry.
Feel. Allow yourself to feel.
Yes. Yes. Allow yourself to feel. And you mentioned something very important, detachment from the outcome. That's super important. Surrender.
Yeah.
And paradoxically, my breakup was much less painful overall in the long term.
Well, also feeling, though, we have to keep that in perspective, right? Because when you don't, you have to understand what allowing yourself to feel means. It's not the anger, right? Because what happens is that is the strongest emotion that we have. And anger is one of the emotions, the strongest emotions, and it makes us do something. So like you just said, when you had broken up, previously, you were going to go and be the best version of you and fuck her because I'm good. And that's anger.
Yes.
Right? So that anger made you do something positive, maybe not for a positive reason, but to hopefully have a positive outcome.
Yes.
As opposed to you actually allowing yourself to feel it. So there was no anger. There was just the true emotion.
Yes. It's interesting the words you're using. I think we have different definitions of certain things.
Hello, you have a penis and I don't.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
well,
going to be.
This is why that conversation is important. So, anger, I believe, is a protective mechanism that shows up when deep down there's fear. So underneath anger, there's fear.
Yep.
And what I mean by truly letting myself fear is, yes, when I have fear or anger, I let myself be angry. Now, since it's conscious, I can express it in a breathwork session. I can have a breathwork session and then all the anger comes out and I start hitting the ground and I start screaming and then it comes out and then I feel free. Oh shit. Now, on the flip side, if I tell myself, no, there's no anger, then I'll repress it and it'll come out the worst way possible.
Right.
So I was curious when you said it's not, when you say letting yourself feel, it doesn't mean anger. Did you say that?
No. Letting yourself feel is not necessarily. So when we prevent ourselves from feeling, sometimes we will be angry. So it instead of the emotion, anger is an emotion as well, but meaning instead of allowing it. So when the anger is the easier of the emotion to release, because then if you're angry, you're strong.
Yes, exactly.
So when you're emotional, you're weak. And again, I'm air quoting as I say that. That's what I mean by that. So when we have the anger, but the good thing about the anger is the anger will facilitate change, because usually it gives us enough of that push.
Yes, it can. Exactly. It's like, use it. If it's there, use it. Let yourself feel it. That's what it comes down to.
Correct.
Let yourself feel whatever the fuck is going on inside. And that is for men and women.
Totally.
And my belief is, here's where the difference lies. It's not because you're a man that you won't experience emotions or you won't cry.
Right.
But indeed, if both masculine and feminine energy were fully embraced, then feminine energy by definition is a bit more emotional.
Of course.
And the masculine energy is a bit more logical.
Yes.
And that's polarity. And that's beautiful. It doesn't mean women cannot be logical, it doesn't mean men cannot be emotional.
Absolutely.
But the whole point is if we all let ourselves feel fully,
yeah,
the natural balance will take place, which is, yes, men will cry less. Yes, they will cry less on average. That's how we are biologically also created. Because another thing I want to share, I had a podcast one time with a trans woman.
Okay.
So born in a biological masculine body, turned into a woman. And I was asking her, so how did the transition feel? And the main thing she told me, and I love this because she was honest with it. She wasn't trying to pretend biology doesn't matter. That's why I respect her. She said, well, when I was a man, I was much less emotional. When I started transitioning with the hormones, I started crying much more often.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's biological.
We heard it from a trans woman.
Right.
She embraces the fact that there's a different biological, and that's okay.
But you know what? But here's the caveat to that, in my opinion. So women are emotional, but we are not always made to feel safe enough to and just like the men, it's being safe enough and comfortable in your own skin enough to allow yourself to be emotional, because I am a very sensitive person. And the worst thing you can do is point that out in a negative way to me.
Oh, yeah.
So what I mean by that is that when if a woman is being emotional and a man says, "Oh, you're always crying,"
or that's
"You're
the worst.
always right," okay, but this is the reason why we don't express that. And the same way, if a man is crying, where it's like, "Oh, come on, really, bro? Like, you're a fucking man. You don't cry."
That's
so
horrible.
These are the problems, right? It is horrible,
Yeah.
but these are the problems. So this is why women take on this masculine role, because we are emotional and we do feel certain things, but it's not okay.
Yeah.
You still got to do what you got to do. So guess what? Buck it up. Pull up your big girl panties and get moving. Yeah. And this is what ends up happening. It's the same thing, with men. Like, come on, go, buddy, let's go. Go fucking chop a log or something. Get that testosterone flowing.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm old school. So some of it is very archaic. But a lot of it, in terms of the roles and the polarity, are still the same.
Yes, of course.
But we have, like, I don't even know what the right word is to use as to what it's just so fucked, because we're not. That's a good word.
Yeah.
Because we're not in a place where we can be in our own skin. We can be like genuine, because there's always a mask that has to be worn on either side.
And
because
that's fear.
because fear of what somebody's going to think.
Yep.
Fear of what they're going to say. So now when you're vulnerable, think about that. When you're vulnerable and you allow yourself, and somebody comes back at you with, why is it always something? Why are you always so emotional? Why do you have to always, you're so sensitive, like every little thing you're always that way with. So now, how do you feel?
If you're a man listening to that and you say that, the past is the past, but the past doesn't equal the future. Now you're aware of that. Stop doing that. Fuck that. That's the worst thing you can do. And I'm glad I realized that early. Because there's multiple moments in my life, and this is one of the most beautiful experiences for me, where a woman who cries ends up crying in my arms and says, "The first time I'm allowed to feel safe to be a woman with you. A man allows me to be safe in my femininity," and they do that while crying.
And guess what? Does she cry as often?
She cries often and feels comfortable with it, so it's less painful. She just lets it come and go.
In essence, it's almost not. It's not less often. It's less. impactful.
Yes,
I
less
guess you
intense,
would say
less
intense, right? So
less painful.
So that's the whole thing. Is that
Yes.
like if you could just let somebody feel something, they won't. That's gonna lessen it because she's not afraid to feel it again. And once you get it out, you get it out. I mean, I don't want to
Literally.
compare it, but think about it. Let's say, for argument's sake, you got a stomach ache, right? And
Yeah.
you had a lot of broccoli or broccoli rabe in your stomach. You hold all that in.
Yeah.
Your stomach is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and
That's
bigger,
it.
and you're going to be in pain.
That's it.
If you are able to let it out,
Yeah.
now there's no pain, your stomach isn't bloated, and you're good. So it's a terrible analogy, but
No, it's very straight to the point.
It
It's
really, I mean, I saw a thumbs up, I think, on on
Awesome.
YouTube. But
Yep.
I mean, it's true. And so the more, and again, this is how we live.
Yep.
The more we keep putting, we keep loading. Now we end up with so much, and now you just explode. Think about it.
Literally.
When you have resentment building up, if every single time I'm talking to you, and I had a friend of mine that did this to me, and he would go, enough with the drama. So I would go, drama? Now, I'm a dramatic person, but I am not drama. I don't do drama. I don't like drama. If you know me on a personal level, when people start freaking yip-yapping about this one, and, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear? No. And guess what? I don't want to. I don't care who's fucking who. I don't want to know it. I don't want to know the drama. Leave me the fuck out of the drama. Because it's not important to me. But when someone belittles you and tells you, oh, enough, I don't want to hear the drama, all that means is that he did not want to communicate because he is an avoidant.
Yes.
So now you're avoiding feelings because now, God forbid I should have feelings that you have to deal with. So now I know that I have to be in my masculine energy around someone like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And no. So, and this is the reason why your phone is on low battery. Are you okay with that?
I'll be fine.
Okay. This is the reason why, you get to know people and and as you get more and more, I think you can attest to this, right? As you get more and more in tune with yourself,
Yes.
you are less and less inclined to keep people like that around you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want to hear that. I don't want anybody that makes me feel like it's not okay for me to be me. And guess what? That's why I don't go out anymore. I don't do a lot of things anymore. My circle is a dot.
Yes.
Because I am who I am. I am not for everybody. And I'm tired of apologizing for who or what I am.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling.
As long as, and I tell my son the same thing, as long as you are a good human. If you're not a good human, that's a different story.
That's a completely different subject.
But if you are a good human and you're a good person, then you be you, and your people will find you. And so for the person, just to say, the person that sent us the messages where he was being mimicked or whatever, I hate to say it, but I don't think that's your person.
Nope.
Because that's not the way
I stand on that.
people that support you behave.
I stand on that.
Because the only thing there's nothing constructive to be done with that.
Nope.
So instead of mimicking or making fun of somebody, maybe understand them, and maybe they don't know a better way. Maybe you can help them find a better way. And that goes back to what you were talking about, resources.
Yes.
How can we, instead of us empowering one another, we are spending so much time breaking each other down.
Yeah.
Instead of empowering each other.
Which comes down to fear. This is what I've been saying for the past 30 minutes. Literally everything we've been talking about comes down to fear. People's relationship with their own fear inside. Because the only reason you would tear someone down, you would judge someone, is because of your own fear. And so you want to make them feel bad so that you feel better.
Yeah.
about yourself because you're so terrified of not being good enough. That's literally what it comes down to. And you mentioned, okay, if you're a good person, all that stuff. That's for a completely other subject.
Right.
But let's separate feeling and behavior. Behavior, yes, there's right and wrong by definition. That's cool. But feeling, I don't believe there's a wrong feeling.
No.
There's no wrong feeling.
No.
There's no bad feeling.
No.
There's painful maybe and enjoy and pleasurable feelings,
Right.
yes. But there's no good, bad, right, wrong. So by definition, if someone doesn't allow you to feel whatever you need to feel,
Well, they tell you what you should feel.
yeah, well, fuck that.
Even better.
Yeah, fuck that. And you mentioned like when you do that inner work, you naturally start removing these people from your life. And I reflect on my life. When I was going through that breakup, I cried in front of every single friend I had, family, including guy friends. All of them held space for me, listened to me, and that I'm
Wow.
eternally grateful for.
That's amazing.
That's brotherhood by my standards.
That's amazing.
That's what it is. And they're strong men. So they let me experience my shit, and then together we were like, okay, so like, what are you focused on now? Who do you want to have in your life now? What type of woman? What are your standards?
That's amazing.
That's beautiful. It's, you let the person feel, and then out of a place of love, now you lead them towards a better place if they're ready. But, oh, you shouldn't feel that? The fuck is that? That's you being afraid of your own feelings.
Yeah, and or not only that, and it's also that they don't have the emotional bandwidth to entertain it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so yes, where does it come from? You know, the deep rooted. But the whole thing is like I say it all the time: know your audience.
Yes.
Know your audience, because there are those. You know, there are friends of mine that I have, and I know like those are the friends you just go out with.
Yes.
You don't, and you don't have the connection, right? These are the people that you hang out with where it's noisy and you don't really have a conversation. It's banter and that's it, because there isn't that. Now, I'm not that person. I like deep, tactile conversations. So to me, that small talk stuff, I don't need it.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way my whole life. But now that I'm older, and so it's interesting because you're like, God, less than half my age, and like it took me this long. I understood it, and I recognized it, but never understood. And now, and I was talking to one of my close friends who is 54. She's going to be 55 next month. She was saying, I love this age. Because you just get to the point where you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're done. And you're not entertaining it. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful perspective.
Yes. And my brat is coming down. Yeah.
Well, that might be our sign.
What's our sign?
To end the first part of
Okay.
this podcast. It's been an hour and a half.
Wow, and that's what we tried to.
conversation.
That was our goal.
It was our intention.
That was our goal. So here's the thing, though, is that we're going to do this again because we like to do it in person, because as you can see, him and I, we have strong energy together, whether it's in person or even on video. When we first met, we like had an instant connection. And then he said, one of the other phone calls, you were like, oh, I'm going to be in New York. And ironically, he's like in my area in New York to boot. And we just haven't had the opportunity, to connect yet. So now we connected. We figured out all of this.
Yeah.
So our next one, we're going to do next week, right?
Yes.
And we're going to confirm a date and a time, which we will give you a heads up so that you can come and you can post your questions. And if you can't make it and you want to give us questions, we will address those questions in the live, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to try to keep it going, not in person because he's going to be in another country than me, but we will try to keep this going because what we really were aiming to do is that when even just from the first conversations that I had with Dani, it was interesting because obviously he's a male, obviously I'm a female. And so he has, one side of the aspect of things because he deals with predominantly men. And I'm on the other aspect and I deal with women. And then we have not only that, but we have an age difference between us. So Dani's perspective is going to be different than my perspective because I have, as my father said, the knowledge and experience. Not that I'm smarter or have more experience, but just in life, you gain these things. So perspective is different.
Yes, it is.
And my whole thing is about perspective.
Yeah.
And if we are open to seeing things from a different perspective, you have no idea how much you could probably accomplish.
100%. 100%. Yes. We are covering a wide range of perspectives. Masculine, feminine, different generations. So this is what makes this collaboration very powerful.
Totally.
And that was a great conversation that I'm very grateful for.
Me too.
So we'll keep you updated for the next one. We love you.
Yes.
Thank you for your participation.
If you're watching this on the replay, hit the replay and let us know if you're excited to hear us again. And again, feel free to throw some questions in there, and we will absolutely address them. We have so much more to talk about because you have new endeavors going on. I have endeavors going on. We wanted to discuss with you guys, but we just wanted you to get to know us a little bit. For those of you on the opposite side that don't know me and don't know Dani, now you know us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Love you.
Thank you. Love
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Someone said I love your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Aw. Now I have to
Love
figure
you
out
guys.
how to end this.
We'll end it here.
All right. There we go.
Now you
And
can
now
end
there's
it
my
on-
Facebook people. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't see any comments on here. Nobody loves me. Okay, so now, are we done with this, right? Okay, so now I go end my live. What? Why did that just come up?